you know, just waiting for the world to tell us what's next.
Jimmy, I'm talking to both of your sons right now. Texting me.
What are y'all talking about?
Football and bachelor party.
Football and what?
Bachelor party.
Oh, have we decided a place yet?
No.
Cannot say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder, we are live on YouTube in case any bachelor party conversations. Just looking out for you.
I'm an open book.
Mr. Pike says he can hear us, but we can't hear him. That's because you're on mute, Mr. Pike. You got to unmute. How about now? Nope, we still can't hear him.
That's not a bad thing.
Well, he's the chairman tonight, so we need to be able to hear him. You may have to log off and log back in. Still on mute. Can't hear you, Mr. Pike.
Mr. Pike, we're getting some feedback from you. Could you go ahead and try to say something for us?
I'm going to try to get him to call my office and be on the speakerphone. Will that work, Tina, you think?
It should. You just may have to mute one of the two devices, like mute your computer, or else you're going to get a feedback.
Okay. Say something. Can y'all hear Mr. Pike on there?
Hello. Frank, Mr. White, Bennett, Bowler, Jamal.
What's up?
Andy, we're getting a lot of feedback. We may need to make sure Mr. Pike has the call-in instructions via telephone as opposed to via the Zoom app.
Okay. Mr. Pike, do you have the call-in instructions?
I'll have to go back and look. Let me, can I see, may I see video with the call instructions, or do I need to see the call?
Andy, to answer that question, what I would prefer Mr. Pike do is go ahead and connect up to Zoom, completely mute everything, mute video and mute audio. That way he can see the video at least, and then use his telephone to call in for the audio portion. And I can resend you those instructions real quick if you need them.
Did we lose everybody? Jeremiah, did we lose everybody?
I hope not. I think everybody's just nice and quiet waiting for Mr. Pike.
Just wondering. Got awful quiet all of a sudden.
Maybe everybody had dinner already.
Not me. Not till after the meeting.
True.
I'm here, guys. Nathan, you still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So it's just us three.
No, I'm still here. I think we're all still here. We're just waiting on Pike.
Out, out, out. Let's go. Out.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
I got you.
Okay. All right.
yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hurry up and get started so y'all can all go eat. I know y'all all getting hungry. All right. Let's call the order Parks Board meeting of November 16th, 2020 to order. Can I get Mr. White to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Hey,
of the United States of
United
America,
States of America.
to the republic for which it stands,
Stand
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
Indivisible.
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice
For
for
all.
for
all.
all. Thank you, Mr. White. Can I get an approval of the minutes for
Make a motion,
October
we
20?
approve.
Who was that?
Mr. Head.
Oh, Mr.
Mr.
Head.
Head made a motion. Who seconded it?
I will.
Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank, second.
Frank seconded. Mr. Gilly, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes, sir, I will. Mr. Head,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Bowler,
Abstain.
Mr. Pike,
Yes.
Mr. Perry is not here. Mr. Golden.
Yes.
All right, that passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 0 to 3.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly. I appreciate that. Old business park project updates, Mr. Gilly.
Real quick, just to let everybody know, the so tag reader cameras have been installed at Sanders Ferry Park and at Volunteer Park, so that we're on the same page there as we are in other parks. We got a concrete cornhole at Shelter 8 at Sanders Ferry for those that use that shelter down there. Hopefully, that's something we can add to other parts of the park also. Staff in-house went around and put LED lights on some old poles in Memorial Park, security lighting there in the parking lot. That's made a big difference. We will be having upcoming renovations to the dog park and the disc golf course, thanks to some events that we've had that sponsors helped fund those. One of them being the state cross country meet. The TSSAA is helping us do some renovations to the disc golf course. You will see in the next few weeks some major discussions about the bond issue to relocate inline hockey. So I will keep you all informed via email as that progresses. It did pass, the first resolution passed to fund the covered inline rinks, passed the Board of Mayor and Aldermen a week ago. I think the vote was like either 8-5 or 9-4, something like that. We also will have money to resurface one of the set of 4 tennis courts. We got a project coming up to put mile markers on the greenway, and we have added signage to all the buildings that includes address and name of the building, and also has Braille on it for anybody that vision impaired, so people will know where they are. This is going to be helpful in case we have emergencies, especially for people to be able to give a specific address, what building they're closest to. So that is my report on projects for tonight. If anybody has any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gilly? Thank you, Mr. Gilly. Appreciate that. All right. Under new business, Under Armour full count sponsorship, Josh Carman.
Good evening, board members and Mr. Gilly. Full Count Ministries and Full Count Rhythm, the college baseball team that you guys approved some time back to use Drakes Creek Field 3 in the park, has entered in some talks with the Under Armour Championship Series in discussions for use of the Hendersonville City Parks fields in partnership with the City of Hendersonville and Full Count Rhythm in exchange for a significant donation towards installing grandstand bleachers at Drakes Creek Field 3. This would allow us, Full Count, to purchase the necessary seating to go around that field. And what we're looking at is 3 more sections of bleachers that would match the one that you currently have, that would increase the seating capacity around that field to around 550. Currently, there's enough seats at that field to seat safely about 150. So we've been in discussion. I guess would need Andy maybe to more elaborate on the park side, but wanted to bring that up for your approval. And I think the guys from the Under Armour Championship Series are on the call as well.
Yeah, I know. Shane, I think you got to get off at 6:30. Is that correct? Somebody sent me a text said you had to get off here.
Yeah, Andy, this is Chad Jacobson. I'd have to drop off in just a little while.
Ed, before you go and before I explain what's going on here a little more in depth, I just would like for you to tell everybody about the Under Armour Championship Series so they know what kind of events you're talking about running here.
Yeah, so I am I partner with the Rough Rider Baseball Club, which is a member that the Under Armour Championship Series has done a partnership with our group, and one of the tournament directors out in Colorado, the president of the Under Armour Championship Group is actually on the call as well. He can elaborate more if I miss anything, but he has set up around the country regional and national events through USSSA, and then he also hosts high school and college events that are branded through Under Armour. It's a new series called the Under Armour Championship Series, and there's a lot of events that are going on currently in all sports that will be pretty exciting going on in the future. And basically, what we're looking to do is to create events and showcases that will be that help the athletes get seen at the next level and improve overall fan experience through hosting tournaments and showcases and things like that. So Under Armour is a big supporter here in Colorado and in South Carolina, where we have current events going on right now. I know that they are in Texas, Iowa, and they created an Under Armour Hockey League on the ice hockey side this summer that will be launching next year as well. So Under Armour has done a nice job supporting a lot of the sporting groups, and we were looking at hopefully partnering with the group in Tennessee and Hendersonville would be an awesome spot for, I think, the expansion of their events.
So thank you, Chad. Before I speak just a second, does anybody have any questions for Chad or the Under Armour folks? If not, I'll kind of go into the letter that's in your packet. You have two letters in your packet. One of them pertains to strictly the relationship with Full Count Rhythm and Under Armour, but the other one's on our Parks letterhead, and it talks about how our part of the deal for getting these upgraded bleachers, which are sorely needed. If you've ever been to a baseball game at Field 3, we have one great set of bleachers. We've got some chairback seating, and we have one set of bleachers that's a death trap. So having this would be a significant upgrade. All they're asking for from us and for your approval is for your blessing for us as a staff to try to identify dates that we can host events for the Under Armour Championship Series. It would be not necessarily on Field 3, but would be using other fields. At this point, with our schedule the way it is, we do have a limited amount of dates, but we have sometimes when our parks are still available, either Veterans or Greg's Creek, or a certain amount of fields are available. They would still, in addition to getting the bleachers, they would still be subject to the same field rental fees that every other group that comes in and runs a tournament has been subject to for the last several years, which is kind of outlined in your packet. So I guess the ask from our staff and from Full Count Rhythm and from the Under Armour folks is for you all to put your stamp of approval on this agreement between our department and the Under Armour Championship Series, that we would work on finding them dates, and they would be subject to the rates of the tournament in exchange for also upgrading our seating there at Field 3.
I'll make that motion that we approve this.
All right, Mr. White made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is that Mr. Head?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Head seconds it. I guess go ahead and call the roll, Andy.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, I have one as well. Go ahead. Sorry, Darren.
Just a point of discussion. Is there a length of term on this agreement? Is this something that has to be asked for annually? Is we do it for a period of time, or just clarifying?
They did not ask for any date on here. Indefinitely will help them identify dates to come here. Once we do identify dates that work, we will come back to this board to get approval, just like we have any other event.
Thank you.
Question I have, Andy, is I know in the email you sent to the board, it identified the amount of the donation all total to be somewhere, I believe, $35,000. I don't see that figure specifically in the memos. Is that is that necessary to
I
make it?
don't want to put an amount on it in the memo, to be honest. I know what
Understand.
approximately it's going to be, but with pricing and things like that, I just want to be able to have a little flexibility there.
Oh, I get it. Okay, thank you.
With Mr. Andy, with Mr. Frank's question, do we need anything, any wording like that somewhat in the proposal, or are we good with you coming back with the proposal right now and you coming back after you've got dates like you said you would? Do we need anything in this proposal pertaining to date, to times?
I don't think so. I think the dates will be determined upon us identifying which weekends we can use or which weeks, and then officially filling out an event application like the other groups do, and going that way. That way, once they get in, they'll be like any other group. They'll have the right of first refusal on that weekend.
All right.
Something open.
Is there any other questions? Anybody? All right, so we got Mr. White as a first and Mr. Head as a second. I think we're ready to call the roll, Andy.
Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Mr. Bowler?
Yes.
Mr. Pike?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Frank?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Head?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you, guys. I really think I appreciate you reaching out to Andy for this. It's really going to help, I think, both parties. It's a great program as far as what I've heard from the first year of the full count, the whole thing. And I appreciate y'all reaching out and giving us an opportunity here. So,
Thank
all
you.
right. I guess for our information, we got the special events list. I think everybody can see that on their packet. I guess we're moving on to staff reports. Unless you've had something else, Andy, I guess we're ready for staff reports.
Yes, sir.
All right. Recreation Coordinator, Ms. Hamlin.
Good afternoon, people. I'm getting ready for my we've changed our lunch with Santa to breakfast with Santa. It'll be December 12th. We have 3 sessions, an 8:30 to 9:15, a 9:30 to 10:15, and a 10:30 to 11:15. We are limiting it to 40 children per session. The 9:30 session is already full. It is at George Whitten Elementary. It is free. It is being sponsored by the Parks Department in Hendersonville, Civitan. They must be pre-registered. They can go online and register, or they can come in the office and register till 4 o'clock daily. They will be held accountable to follow the Sumner County mask mandate. So all people 12 years or older are required to wear a mask inside the building. They are allowed 2 adults per children that are registered. We're going to do chicken biscuits and sausage biscuits and a juice for them from Wendy's. And then my Santa visit with special friends is going to be on Thursday, December 10th at the City Hall main meeting room from 5:30 to 7. And they will just have a more relaxed atmosphere to visit with Santa. No age limit on that one. And then the Raptors special needs basketball. I actually need to sit and talk with Andy a little bit about this, but with the school system going back on the hybrid schedule and some of the things that are going on with Civitan postponing theirs for 2 weeks, I'm thinking that this probably will be something we need to change to a different event. And what I'm looking at doing in place of the basketball league is to do what we call just a fun game day every Saturday for them, and they can come in and play games. That will allow me to control the social distancing and still give them something to do. We can still go in the gym and split the gym floor up half and half, and then maybe get some physical activity going for them as well. So that's what I'm more or less leaning to. I have heard from a few of the people that play with me, the ones that have responded have said they want to go ahead and do basketball, but they also are very concerned about the COVID issues. So I'm not sure about passing a basketball that's been possibly spit on, sneezed on, handled by sweaty hands and everything to each other. So I'll get with Andy. We'll make a final decision on that. Any questions?
Any
If
questions,
not,
guys? Thank you, Ms. Hamlin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Recreation Coordinator, Mr. Evans.
Hey, everybody. Couple quick updates. We did start our men's league and our 2 high school leagues last week for basketball. I'm actually about to go over to one of the gyms tonight for our games. Currently, we have 19 teams in our high school league. We have 8 men's league teams. So we're off and running. We did finish up kickball, and here right after Thanksgiving, we'll start registrations for indoor volleyball. Really, that's the big stuff we've got going on, is that we've already had to reschedule a couple games because of teams that have been exposed, or a lot of the kids in high school right now are dealing with that. So it is what it is. We're trying to be flexible, and we'll reschedule and make it work for them. But now we started. We're going to try to go for as long as we can.
Any questions for Mr. Evans? Thank you, Mr. Evans. Appreciate it. Special Events Program Supervisor, Andrea Wise.
All right. Hi, everybody. With this crazy year coming to an end, things have started to slow down a bit as far as events going. But within the past month, we've had our trick-or-treat event. We had less vendors this year than usual just due to the weather, along with everything that's going on. But it ended up being a great turnout. We had more people attend than what was expected. We moved it to the quad at Drakes Creek Park instead of having it back at the soccer fields, and I think that seemed to go over pretty well with a lot of people. We also had, as Andy mentioned, we had the TSSAA cross country meet a couple weeks ago. From what I heard, the feedback that I got, they seemed to like the location and everything went well. And there were a bunch of people in the park both days. So hopefully they will come back next year, but I guess time will tell. The USSSA tournament was the first weekend in November, and that was their last tournament for this year. Cashville Explosion, that was supposed to be this past Saturday, but due to low registrations, they ended up canceling that tournament, but they are hoping to come back next year. This past Saturday was our annual parking pallet. We had more registrations this year than last year, so I think the word is starting to get out about it and more people are becoming interested. And if you didn't get a chance to go over there and look at the parking spots, there are a lot of cool new additions to the parking lot, so that's pretty cool. And then we're working on finalizing the total amount that was raised for that event. PGF tournament was supposed to be their last tournament this weekend, but they ended up canceling it due to low turnout as well. And then coming up, we've got our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And that's followed up by the Festival of Lights, which starts that evening and goes through December 20th, I believe. And then we've got the Christmas parade on Sunday, December 6th. And last but not least, we've got the Christmas boat parade on Saturday, December 12th. And that's a wrap for 2020. And
Any
that's all that I
questions for
got.
Ms. Wise? Any questions for Ms. Wise? I said, any questions for Ms. Wise? Thank you, Ms. Wise. Appreciate it. Assistant Maintenance Supervisor, Jeremy Granat or Eddie Kemper.
Someone needs to unmute Eddie.
You did. You look good, though.
Y'all got me now?
Got it.
I hear you.
All right, sorry. Andrea pretty much shouted me down on everything I was going to talk about, but I do say that the state cross country went real well at Saunders Ferry. A lot of compliments A lot of people from out of town came in. Hopefully they'll come back. I think they will. Andrea did a real good job on orchestrating all this with the TSSAA. I'll give her credit. Tournaments are pretty much winding down. Rugby finished up over the weekend. Hendersonville Rec Soccer had their state tournament over the weekend. That pretty much winds them down. We were supposed to have PGF this weekend. They canceled out for whatever reason. So basically the maintenance staff is pretty much done with athletic events for the fall. We're going to buckle down and get on our winter list that we have that's been put together by the maintenance staff and Mr. Gilly and Mr. Long and Mr. Bruce. And so we'll start wrapping our fields up and getting on winter list programs and get ready for the middle of February when we start back again. That's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Kemper. Is there any questions for Mr. Kemper? Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Assistant Director Dallas Long.
Thank you, Mr. Pike. As Eddie mentioned, HSC had their Friendship Cup this past weekend. It's a good turnout for that, and so their season is officially over. This is the last week for Tennessee United. They got a few games scheduled this weekend, and then they have a few teams I'll be practicing into December that have qualified for some national and regional tournaments. And then soccer will be done for the fall. Rugby finished up this past weekend. They had their end of season tournament out there at the new fields, and then they'll have their camp December 5th that we all voted on. I guess a couple of months ago, they got canceled and they rescheduled it for December 5th. Football, they still have a few teams playing. They're going to be playing in a tournament this coming weekend in Knoxville, and then football will be finished up. And then lacrosse has. Let's see. They have an alumni game next Saturday. That was a game that was originally scheduled this past summer, but because of COVID, got canceled, and they've now rescheduled it for the fall. So that'll be next Saturday, and then lacrosse will be done for the year. That's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Long?
I do actually. Dallas, you had referenced this, I think, in a previous board meeting about some of the safety measures and things that you guys are doing for the indoor leagues, particularly basketball. And I know Cindy actually had kind of referenced my concern as far as we've seen obviously a doubling of average, 7-day average cases in Sumner County in the last 14 days. And so of COVID. So can you kind of, I know there's a lot I'm sure that you're doing, but you kind of just give us an overview, I guess, a little bit of what some of the safety procedures or things you guys are doing.
Yeah, so our supervisors have temperature. They're taking temperatures of the players and coaches, staff, officials. We also purchased the fogging machines that the county has at all the schools, and we are going into the schools on the weekends and planning on fogging the gyms that were in there all day long. Civitan just decided to kind of put a hold on their practices for the time being. So we've kind of put a stop to all the youth practices until December 5th. So right now, the only thing that's going on are the high school and men's open league games on the weeknights. And then we're going to get together with Civitan as we get closer to December 5th and kind of figure out how we're going to move forward and what other precautions we're going to put in place when that comes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions for Mr. Long? Thank you, Mr. Long. Appreciate it. Assistant Director Keith Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Pike. Couple things have finished up. The Fast Pitch League has finished up their tournaments and practices and all-star stuff. Hockey actually is still doing some all-star practices. They're going down to Georgia to play in the tournament. I think it's the first weekend in December. So they're still got a couple teams practicing down there at nights. as Dallas said about the game schedules and stuff with Civitan, as of last Saturday, it shut everything down, and perfect timing after I just finished the game schedules. So we're going to have to go back and look at doing some of that. If we can start back the 5th, do we practice the month of December and then start games back in January? So got some big decisions to make the next couple of weeks with that kind of situation. So, as of right now, depending on the numbers, they want to start back the 5th, but that's still up in the air. So got to redo a lot more scheduling now and see how that goes. That's it.
Any questions for Mr. Bruce? Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Mr. Parks Director, Andy Gilley.
Really quick, we posted today online opportunity for people in the community that want to help volunteer to build trails at the Beatty Farm for mountain bikes, walking trails up on the hillside property. The Friends of Indian Lake is coordinating a volunteer effort. If you want to check out our parks Facebook page, it has all the information how to sign up to volunteer to help with that. Several holiday events, Christmas events. Andrea mentioned the tree lighting November 29th, Christmas parade December 6th. All these things we partner with the Holiday Fest on. But they are seeking floats for the Christmas parade. The Veterans Parade had 70 floats last weekend. So that was the most they've ever had. Don't know how it'll end up with the Christmas parade. Tim Watson, the fiddle man, is the Grand Marshal. That'll be good. In case you get questions, the maintenance staff has begun to winterize the water fountains at the different parks as we started having cooler temperatures at night. So if you get anybody tell you that the water fountains are off, they probably are off because we're beginning to winterize those. And I want to make sure I publicly thank the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for supporting us on several pieces of legislation last week. Had almost a unanimous vote to add 2 maintenance employees beginning in February, full-time. Since we're without the inmate crews right now, we knew going into the spring that would be really tough to maintain our level of operations if we didn't do something. Hopefully we'll get the inmates back in the summer, but honestly, we needed more maintenance employees full-time anyway. Our intention is to advertise these jobs as a Wednesday through Sunday jobs, where we'll have some flexibility on weekends with full-time people. Also, the board supported us in the first vote to fund a park master plan. Both of these things have to be voted on another time, but the master plan is critical to our park system to be funded so that we can get started on it and get it finished by next August, because there is a $500,000 grant through the state that we can qualify for, but not unless we have a master plan. So when the time comes, I may ask you all to get with the alderman that appointed you in your ward and kind of make sure we get the Board of Mayor and Alderman support on that second vote, as a kind of a new board will be voting on that. Mr. Bolt's not on the call, but I do want to publicly thank him for his 2.5 years of service as our Parks Board liaison. Could not have had a better person to work with as our Parks Board liaison. He really truly cares about our park system and our staff, and always willing to support this department and the Parks Board. So I want to make sure I thank him. We got some guys on our staff battling sickness right now. Just keep our staff in your prayers if you don't mind, and just appreciate all that our staff in the office and that maintenance has done to get through this year. I mean, it's not over yet, obviously, but our busiest time of year is over for a while. But I truly don't know how we got through what we've done. Hopefully we can get through the winter. So thank you all.
Any questions for Mr. Gilley? Thank you, Mr. Gilley, and what all you do. Really appreciate it. Okay, I guess we'll go to the round table. Yes? Oh. Okay. Mr. Head, do you have anything?
I just think everybody's done a fantastic job in getting through, like Andy said, from where we stopped the season when it started, and then picked back up and full swing. The maintenance crews, everyone in the park staff, everybody down at the park volunteering. For where we ended up, from where we started, it ended up being an amazing year. So great job, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Head. Mr. White?
I always say that how impressed I am by the maintenance staff down there, and I am, and they do a really good job. But I don't say enough about the office staff and what you guys have done. And this year has been above and beyond impressive. What you guys have managed to do is incredible, and what you've done for the city and everybody here. And I'm thankful to be a part of this board and to see what you guys do on a daily basis. It is very impressive, and I just want to thank you guys for what you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Frank?
As we come up on the holidays, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I hope you enjoyed Thanksgiving, and we got a lot to be thankful for, and just appreciate the opportunity to serve. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Frank. Mr. Golden?
Just want to lend my thanks to the whole team and Andy for your leadership, and truly phenomenal under tough conditions with COVID and being able to do things and keep people safe, and just amazing growth, amazing facilities, amazing opportunities, amazing events that are being brought into our city. And so just a big kudos to everybody. So thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Golden. Mr. Bennett?
Thank you. I don't know how the Parks Department did it all this year. I think I hope the city is very thankful for all the tournaments and events that we had in this crazy year. I'm very thankful to be a part of this board, and looking forward to seeing what you guys do in 2021. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bowler?
Yeah, I just would like to reiterate a lot of the comments that fellow board members have made already. So I won't take up time by repeating those, but I'm very proud to be a part of the group.
Thank you, Mr. Bowler. Mr. Gilly, is there anybody else other than me here, like Dave or anybody? I can't see, so.
Doesn't look like it, but we need to thank Miss Tina Martin with the IT department for helping us get connected here tonight.
Yes, Tina, thank you. And I apologize to everybody for holding up everybody. I just want to kind of say thank you again for everybody's commitment with our park staff, our board of mayor aldermen, our parks board, the maintenance staff. It has been a long, trying year, and we have done, I think this whole staff has done really great things for this parks and brought it through, once again, a trying year. I want to kind of second what Mr. White said. I've been on the board a long time, and I really am proud to be part of this. Hope I can be here for a lot longer, but I am really proud to be part of this and thankful that I am. I hope everybody has a very blessed Thanksgiving and a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody, if you're traveling, be safe. If you're not traveling, count your blessings every day for your family and your friends, and hope everybody like I said, has a happy Thanksgiving. Please keep Mr. Heston in your prayers. Tough time during the holidays. And that's about all I have to say. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get who was the first and second, Andy?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Thank y'all, guys. We are adjourned.
Do we need to vote?
We got to vote.
Roll call.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Mr. Head?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, sir.
Pike?
Yes.
Bowler?
Yes.
Mr. Golden?
Yes.
Thank you all.
We are adjourned, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.